Hey there guys, welcome to the next episode in our van build series. This is not the video we had planned on making for you this week.
Absolutely not. This video is going to be way different than our other van build videos just because, number one, we don't have really anything to show you, and number two, it's because we failed.
We failed big time. So, the original plan this week was to start the installation of our Espar Hydronic D5E system. This system will provide us with our hot water and our heating for the van. So before we get into telling you kind of what happened this week, the reason we decided to make this video is we don't want people to think that building a van is all fun and everything goes perfectly, because it does not ever.
No, the videos that we put out are streamlined to show what we're doing with the van. If we were to show every time we had issues, then our videos would be 3 hours long.
So with that being said, building a van is not easy.
We purchased our system from Heatso. They're a company that's based out of the UK, which kind of brought us to the first issue that we had as customer service support. So being based in the UK, their hours are way, way different than here in the United States. So
yeah, no fault of theirs. It's not that they have bad customer service or anything. It's just when they're up and working, it's either in the middle of the night here or like very, very early morning. So we're going to have to be a little bit more creative about getting in touch with them with some service. But at the same time, we really didn't try to contact them until this week. So we need more time. Okay, so let's talk about the kit that we received. So it came in many boxes. There are several parts. There's the heater itself, all the little components that you need to attach everything, which, by the way, are all labeled in German. So we had to go through and translate every single bag to figure out what each bag was for.
German words are really long. I mean, Google Translate's awesome, but I mean, when you have a word, it's like, long, 26 letters long. It's kind of tedious.
Yeah. So it also had our heater and like the heat exchangers, just a million parts in these boxes. And we thought we had a plan, but when we got into it, it didn't go quite as expected.
So the first major issue that we ran into was actually mounting the Espar heater underneath the van. It's designed to go outside the van. Everything, the fuel and everything's designed to be outside the van, so you don't get any leaks or anything inside the van, which is great. Unfortunately for us, we had already installed our electrical on the driver's side, which is where we would have liked to have put it, but the wiring harness was a little bit short, so it wasn't going to reach over to our electrical panel.
So after we realized that we couldn't mount it on the driver's side because of the issues that Jed said, we were considering looking at it on putting it on the passenger side in that same area back there. The problem there is that the exhaust runs really close to that side. We had actually got a hold of the guys at Rixson, which we'd like to thank very much, because even though we didn't buy our product from them, they were very helpful in giving us some tips on how to install this. So it's another place to consider if you're looking to buy a system like this. They have some great systems over at Rixson. So they gave us some tips. They said we could mount it over there, but we had to make sure that the intake for the unit was at least 18 to 24 inches away from the end of the tailpipe. We could not make that happen with where we had to place it over there. So that, again, became not an option. So we're like, where the hell are we going to mount this thing?
So our solution around this is we found a company that would fabricate a metal plate for us so that we could kind of do a custom install metal plate on the van. We're not going to go too far into that because that will be covered in the next video.
When we actually put out a video about this that we're supposed to have put out. So we'll put that out hopefully next week. Fingers crossed we'll have that video together. But we're going to continue on with the problems we've had, because that wasn't the only thing we had a problem with. The next part is the wiring harness. So it is a huge, long wiring harness. Mostly everything is put together, and largely it is plug and play. Most of the things are already done for us. However, there are a few items on it that we have no idea really what they go to or how we're supposed to hook them up. although we're thinking that some of them aren't going to be used with our systems. So we are waiting to hear back from Hitso about those, but in the meantime, we'll show you kind of like what our problems were. So up here in this little compartment is where we are going to be putting all of our electrical controls. This little device is the Easy Start that actually controls the Espar system. It will go up in here. These are the wires that we finally figured out that are actually going to go up in here and attach to it. So one of them comes with a connector on it, and it's very obvious where it goes here. And then the other one, it's got these 3 wires and this pin, but from what we can see on the schematics, the colors aren't matching up. So we're not really sure how these are supposed to connect in here. So problem 1 with the wiring. So the next part of the wiring, because there are basically 3 different chains, or I guess off sprouts of the wiring harness that they sent us, is this next part. So I'm not positive what this does, but it doesn't need to be hooked up to anything. It kind of is just there. This little thing has some fuses in it, which is all hooked up. But this is the issue with this, is we have these 2 wires with the rings on them. And one of them appears to be a ground, and the other one, we really don't know where it goes to. So we are trying to wait from them to hear how to best ground the system. Can we just ground it through our distribution panel? Do we need to ground it to the vehicle? So because we want to make sure we do it properly and it's grounded well. So that is the second issue that we're having with the wiring harness, that we're not really sure what to do with it. And the third area that we're having trouble with the wiring harness is this. So there are these 2 green wires that are supposed to connect to the pump to operate it. However, they are not in a connector. There is no connector in the box. So yeah, we need to figure out how we can get this attached. I don't know if they just didn't send us the connector or if there's just something we're missing. And the last problem that we're having with this is actually with this little guy. This is a calori blower. It is actually the heater. It's what's going to provide the heat to our van. And we really had no idea how to hook it up. We did some research. We were able to figure out the majority of the connections. The one thing though we could not figure out is how to actually connect this little device, which is what connects them to 3 together. So this will go from here to here and this from here to here, so we can control it. But it basically has 2 little pins in here that you have to connect to this. And there are 4 pins on the inside of this. So there are no instructions telling us how to hook it together. And there's also not a connector that we received in the kit to be able to connect it together. So we're not sure how to do it. Again, we don't know if it's just a missing part that we just need to get, or if there's something we're totally missing and we don't understand how to do it. Woo, we still don't have it all figured out, but...
Thanks for listening to us whine.
Yeah, so... like I said, we had hoped to have at least the under van portion of this installed. I think we have our solution to be able to do that now. We'll still have to figure out all the wiring issues.
Knock on wood.
Hopefully tomorrow we can start on that portion underneath the van and get that video out for you next week. What did we learn from this?
Number 1, when we purchased the kit, we didn't know that it didn't have step-by-step instructions. That's something that I would have liked to have known before I actually purchased the kit. Like Sandy says, it's not necessarily Hitso's fault. We are waiting back for some correspondence from them to see exactly, to try to get some of our questions answered. So,
and from what I've heard is their customer service is great. So we have fingers crossed that's true and that they're very helpful in walking you through things you don't understand. So we just have to get in touch with them so we can get that done. So our first suggestion would be when you get something like this, even if you don't plan to install it immediately, pull it out and make sure you understand it. That way, if there's any issues, you can contact them right away. Like all the connector stuff, we didn't realize until we pulled the wiring harness out of the bag that a lot of them didn't have actual plug-in connectors. And I mean, those pins attached together, but it doesn't seem very secure, especially for being under a van where you have lots of vibration and stuff. I wouldn't be dependent on those staying in place like that.
And number 2, nothing in your van build is going to go as planned.
Nothing. There's always going to be something. You're either going to be running back to the store 10 times to get a little part that you forgot here and there. I mean, there's always something while you're doing a van build that you hadn't anticipated or whatever. So just be really flexible and kind of go with the flow. We can't tell you how many times we wanted to quit this week. We actually went and talked to somebody about having them install it for us, but they don't do hydronic systems, so I guess we're kind of back to doing it ourselves because we had considered, because we're just that kind of fed up with it this week.
Which brings up a good point. There's no shame. We've kind of gotten into this mode to where we want to do everything ourselves, but we realize that there may be some things that are beyond our technical ability to do so. There's no shame in having someone else install something for you. So don't let all the van life videos and Instagram sway you from going somewhere and asking for help or getting something installed.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll hear back from Heatso in the next couple days, and we'll get this all situated. We're hopeful. We think it's going to come together, but it's just been very aggravating. Something we had planned on taking a couple days has now turned into a week. It's turned into probably multiple weeks to kind of get it done, which, just puts the whole van build behind. But since it's all been negative things that have happened this week, we decided to share with you one positive thing that's happened this week, or that we did to the van this week. And that's, we have a map.
Look at this thing. It is ginormous. It's awesome.
Yeah, so come over here, Jed. Bring your camera. Let's get all this stuff out of the way so you can't see it. But look at it. Isn't it beautiful? So this map, when we did this door with this big panel, we didn't want to leave it blank, but we're like, what can we do with it that's really cool and creative? We used to collect lots of stickers, so we thought maybe we'll stick stickers on here, but we wanted to do something a little nicer. So I got on Etsy and I actually found this map. It's made of wood. It's from a company in the Ukraine, but the quality is amazing on it, and it's so beautiful. So we put it up. It looks great. And then you can get it where it comes with these little flags. So you can mark all the countries you've been to. And then in the States, you can mark the states you've been to, as well as Australia. It has the individual states for you. So as we travel around the U.S. and the world, we're going to mark this baby off. And yeah, it's really cool. So one good thing happened this week. All right, guys. So again, we apologize that we didn't get a good video out to you about how to actually work on some of this installation of the hydronic system. But hopefully you find it useful, especially if you plan on ordering this system from Heatso. Some things for you to look at when you do get it to make sure that everything, is good with your stuff. And as we get information from Heatso this week, we'll make sure to include that in our actual installation video, like the solutions with the problems. So you'll see that there.
And if anybody's doing a van build and has any tips or any experience with hydronic systems like that, hey,
drop them in the comments.
Drop them in the comments.
We need your help. So, yeah, guys. So, yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you shouldn't have liked it because it was like, you had a bad week. But you should still give it a thumbs up.
You can give it a thumbs down if you want to, really. I mean, if you really think it's terrible, give us a thumbs down.
But yeah.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button to follow our van build. I mean,
yeah, and sign up for notifications because we will get this together and we will get it fixed up. And yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. Who knows? Next week we may be, hey, we're ordering another system or gone with another plan. But
so, but yeah, so thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to us. Because I can't talk, because that's how dead my brain is from all this looking at schematics all week. But yeah, as always, thanks for your support. But I think we are going to go take the rest of the day off and rest.
All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this video. And until next time, stay wonderful.